It's 2021, and even though we're in a brand new year, a lot of us are still living in cities and states where our movements are restricted. Some of us are still under stay-at-home orders. A lot of businesses and public arenas are still closed, and even though the world hasn't gotten nowhere near back to normal just yet, we still desire a relationship. We still desire to date. And you really can date and find love and create a relationship even in the midst of a pandemic. But the challenge of it is that dating now feels more like a long distance relationship because we're not able to spend as much one-on-one time with each other. Instead, we're doing a lot of things online dating, talking on the phone, things of that nature. So the question is, in whether we're in a pandemic or not, how exactly do you make a long distance relationship work? Hi, my name is Sharika Matthews, life coach, relationship expert, and the creator of Feminine Success Mastery. And today I want to share with you 5 tips that I've learned on how to make a long distance relationship work. I know for me, prior to the pandemic, especially when I was younger, I enjoyed long distance relationships. I enjoyed it because the emphasis wasn't on having a whole lot of time together. The emphasis was on making the most of the time that we did have together. When I was heavy, well, the time of my life when I preferred long distance relationship, I was a young adult. I was in grad school. I was working. I was just moving to a new city. Like there was a lot of things going on in my life where I desired the relationship, but I actually enjoyed the space and the freedom that having a long distance relationship afforded me. But I know a lot of people, especially as we get older, we prefer not to have long distance relationships. But the current state of the world has either changed our relationship to having long distance relationship, or we're finding relationships over long distances. So what are some things we can do to make sure our relationship works? So the first thing you want to do is to focus on having quality communication. We already know that communication is important to any relationship, but you actually want to focus on the quality of your relationship versus how much we actually talk on the phone. Because someone like me, I don't talk on the phone very often. And when I do, I enjoy having quality conversation over just small talk. So and when you're in the beginning of a long distance relationship, or you are considering, this is especially important when you're considering a long distance relationship, you want to have the conversation about how is this going to work. When we began to embark on I'm going to call it an LDR. When we begin to embark on an LDR, the first thing we talk about is how often we're going to see each other. Am I going to fly to see you twice a month? Are you going to fly to see me twice a month? How is this going to work? But what's going to happen in between those times? And that's the type of conversation you really want to have. You really want to understand how is he going to show up for you when you're 1,000 miles apart? How are you going to show up for him even though you're living in the same city, but because of stay-at-home orders, you can only see each other once a month? You want to talk about how are you going to modify your lives and your schedule so that they're more in sync with each other, so that you can talk with each other, so that you can FaceTime each other, so you can actually make the most of what you currently have. So have the quality conversations about what an LDR is going to look like for you. And then once you have an agreement on how you're going to stay connected with each other over that long distance, then you want to move into having quality conversations about getting to know each other. And this is so important, more important really when you're in a long distance relationship. And long distance relationship is really the perfect opportunity to make sure that you get to know that person on so many different levels. This is where that mental and emotional intimacy can really come into play, because you're spending more time talking, you're spending more time sharing, you're spending more time opening up, and you are able to gather the information. You're able to see different sides of him based on the information he gives you, and you're able to ask questions and explore each other on so many different levels. So you really want to make sure, again, you are focusing on quality communication that allows you to get to know each other better. So that's number one. Number two is get creative. And when I say creative, the first thing that pops into people's mind is phone sex or getting creative and doing stuff like that, which is cool. You want to do that, but also get creative on how you can meet each other's love language. Write this down. Get creative on how you can meet each other's love language. Number one, you want to know each other's love language. You want to know how you give love and what you need to receive love, and how you can modify your love language so that you can show him his love language. And when I say modify your love language, modify how you give love so that he can feel love from you. And it can be easy or it can be hard. So for example, one of the love languages is giving gifts. That is really easy. You go to Amazon and ship them a gift and call it a day. Giving gifts is really going to be very easy for you if gifts is your primary love language. Then there's words of affirmation. If you are having quality conversation, the words of affirmation would be a natural byproduct of that. Then there's acts of service. This is where you have to get creative, because oftentimes acts of service when you are in a space together means taking out the trash for her or cooking dinner for him or something of that nature. But you want to get creative now that you're not in the same space anymore. You want to say, if she says something about, I really need to get my oil changed, say, hey babe, I've already made an appointment for you to get your oil changed next Friday. Does this work for you? Acts of service. You may used to cook him a home cooked meal all the time. Well, instead, send him a meal through Uber Eats or DoorDash, whatever, from his favorite restaurant. You're still doing acts of service to show him love. So get creative, even though you can't do the things you used to do when the world was open up. Quality time, that's another love language. And your quality time it's not going to be like it was before. Quality time is gonna consist of that quality conversation, but you're gonna have to do it via FaceTime or via Zoom or via Skype or whatever video conferencing that you have, and you still want it to be uninterrupted FaceTime. So you can do things like watch a movie together on FaceTime. Is you're watching the same movie on the TV, but you have your phone set up here so you guys can see each other's reactions. It could be playing a game over Zoom so that you're spending that quality time together. You can do all kinds of things. You can cook a meal together over Zoom. That's still quality time. And then the most difficult love language to fulfill while you're in a long distance relationship is gonna be the acts of touch. Some people primary love language is physical touch, and so you want to find interesting ways to make that happen. One of the things that I like to do is send virtual hugs. It could be men. If your lady's primary love language is physical touch and she loves hugs and kisses, I would suggest that you mail her one of your t-shirts with your cologne on it, or send her some of your cologne so she could spray it on your t-shirt to keep the scent alive so she could sleep in it. And again, that physical touch is having some article of yours touching her. It could be a teddy bear or a body pillow where she sprays with your cologne and it smells like you, and she can hug it. There are different things you can do to make sure that that physical touch love language is fulfilled until you're able to physically touch each other. So that's number two. You want to get creative in how you deliver your love languages. Number three is simply consistency. And consistency doesn't mean, oh, I talk to him every day at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Consistency means consistently showing up, consistently showing your interest, consistently being there, consistently saying I love you or I care about you, consistently being who you are, and consistently investing in the relationship. Sometimes long distance relationships, life can get in the way very, very easy. And so in order to be consistent, you have to be intentional. Now, sometimes you may have to schedule a certain time. You have to say, okay, I'm going to talk to you at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. every day, because I know if my life can get hectic, but if I block out these times for me and you, that's going to make sure that I show up for you. Even though we don't often like to schedule things, there are times where you have to schedule, and by me saying I need us to schedule time together shows that I am intentional about us connecting with each other. So you want to be intentionally consistent throughout the relationship. And number 4, you want to guard your gates. When I say guard your gates, you want to be careful about who and what you let into your space and what you entertain. You see, just like if you are dating in close proximity to each other, there's going to be temptation out there. Other men are going to try to holler at you. Other women are going to try to holler at you. And you want to make sure that you don't entertain the wrong people simply because you missed your boo. Because a guy could easily slide in your DMs. An old flame could easily text you from 5 years ago. He'll text you today saying, hey, how you doing? And now you're having a conversation. You want to be intentional about saying, oh, he's just a friend or she's just a friend, when you know that there's more than just friendship behind those phone calls. There's more than just friendship behind those texts. So you want to be careful with that. And not just with people, but with the things that you listen to and the things that you watch on TV. Because if you're always looking at these sappy love stories on Lifetime TV or on Netflix, or you're always listening to these love songs about how you miss your boo, you're gonna feel that pain. You're gonna feel the loneliness. You're gonna feel the absence of him being here. And the deeper you feel it, the more unhappy you're going to be. And the more unhappy you're going to be, the less you'll actually show up in the relationship the way that you need to show up. So you want to listen to things and watch things going to uplift you, that's going to make you smile and feel good, not draw your attention to things that makes you more aware of his absence and deepen the hurt that you feel by him not being there. So that's what I mean by guard your gaze. And I know earlier I said I had 5 things. We only have 4 things I want to share with you today. So those 4 things are quality communication, it is creativity in delivering your love language, it's consistency, and guarding your gaze. And so these are the 4 things that you really want to practice and implement in any long distance relationship in order to make sure that it succeeds. All right, you guys, I hope this video was great for you. If you have any questions or comments, leave your comments below. If this was a blessing, go ahead and hit the share button or copy the link and send it over to your friends or your family. All right, you guys, until next time, be bold, walk in your brilliance, and be completely unstoppable in the pursuit of your heart's desire in life and in your relationships. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.